While there are many contenders for the title of best mariners in the Warhammer world, it is ultimately the High Elves of Ulthuan that can best lay claim to the planet's oceans. Their mighty dragon ships swiftly cut through the waves, condemning treacherous Druchii Blackarks and monstrous sea beasts to the black abyss of the ocean depths. Crewing these ships are some of the most talented warriors to ever set sail, the Lothern Sea Guard. Hailing from the port city of Lothern, these elven warriors are trained in the use of spear, shield, and bow to ensure that they're properly prepared for whatever the battlefield may throw their way. Seaguard often act as the marines of an elven army, establishing a beachhead wherever they ask or bring their forces to distant shores. They also routinely act independently of other high elf soldiers, boarding dark elf ships to free prisoners and extract bloody vengeance against their hated kin. It was through such boarding parties that the Lothern Seaguard Company, known as the Storm Riders, gained their fearsome reputation. The Storm Riders bear the image of the great merworm Aramar upon their shields and banners, and those who have witnessed them fight claim that the Seaguard strike with all the fury of the merworm. Just like the sea beast, the Seaguard protect the Straits of Lothern that separates the inner sea of Ulthuan from the wider ocean. The High Elves' war with their twisted relatives can take the Storm Riders far away from this narrow patch of sea, however. Their ruthlessness in pursuit of Dark Elf ships has earned them the enmity of many Druchii sailors, including the Black Ark fleet captain Yalthus Doomreaver. The devastation the Storm Riders brought upon the Dark Elf captain's fleet was so great that he's put a bounty on their heads. 1,000 fine slaves to the elf capable of slaying the Storm Riders. So far, no Druchii has been skilled enough to claim this reward. While not mentioned outside of their actions against Doomreaver, we can make a fairly accurate assumption of what happened to the Storm Riders during the End Times. As Lothern Seaguard, they likely followed Sea Lord Aeslin to Tyrion's side of the Elven Civil War that racked Ulthuan as the world was ending. There they fought against the forces of Malekith and Teclis as the two tried to unify the Dark and High Elves. Considering Aeslin's already brutal nature and the growing influence of Cain on Tyrion's side of the war, it is likely that the Storm Riders committed atrocities that they never could have fathomed before the events of the End Times. They would ultimately meet their end while defending the Isle of the Dead, when Sea Lord Aeslin defected to Malekith's side and summoned a massive tidal wave to destroy Tyrion's navy. Even if the Storm Riders hadn't died, it is likely that they too would have defected once they discovered that the dread pirate Lokir Felhart had thrown in his lot with Tyrion's forces. In Total War Warhammer, the Storm Riders of the Lothern Seaguard Regiment of Renown released in the Queen and the Crone DLC for Total War Warhammer 2. Despite being famous for having the merworm Aramar on their shields in the lore, the Storm Riders are the unshielded variant of Lothern Seaguard in the game. They cost 850 gold in multiplayer, 125 gold less than the normal rank 9 shieldless Lothern Seaguard. In addition to these discounts, the Storm Riders also cause fear, have the Vanguard deployment ability, and can fire while moving. These abilities fit nicely with their history in the army books, as possessing the Vanguard ability is an excellent reference to their talent as boarders. Despite these advantages, it should be noted that the lack of a shield makes them more vulnerable to small arms fire than even a completely novice Lothern Seaguard with a shield that also costs 100 gold less and has similar melee defense stats. If taking the Storm Riders, ensure that you're getting the most out of their unique talents. The Vanguard ability makes them useful in domination mode, and the fact that they cause fear makes them skilled at buckling low leadership front lines or backline harass. If you're trying to use them as a hardy bowline against the likes of the Dwarfs, Dark Elves, or Empire, however, you might want to look to the shielded variant. With that, we have concluded the 5th video in our series of deep dives on the Regiments of Renown, this time covering the Storm Riders of the High Elves. Thank you all for listening to the content. I hope you had as much fun listening as I did making it. These things are always fun. As always, feel free to suggest a Regiment of Renown you want covered in the future, and I will definitely get to it, hopefully sooner rather than later. Until next time, this has been Sigmar's Chosen, signing off for now.